What's going on, guys? Welcome to a long overdue Blu Ray update video.
Very long overdue.
We've got hella Blu Rays.
Hella rays.
Hella Blu Rays to show off to all of you lovely people out there. I am Nate, and of course, I'm joined with Steve. So let's jump right into it. Steve, hit me with a Blu Ray.
The first one was a blind buy from one of my favorite Blu-ray joints, Big Lots.
Shout out.
Got it for a swift $3.
Got them cool purchases.
New number. Cedar Rapids, starring Ed Harris, John C. Reilly. Very surprising movie. Just judging from the cover, you're thinking, oh, it's just going to be a zany Ed Harris, John C. Reilly.
It does look like a shit show.
It does. I wasn't excited to watch it, but it's totally not that at all. It's very, very, I don't want to say monotonous, but it just has this tone of just like almost seriousness where it's all unintentional comedy besides John C. Reilly's character, who's very obnoxious, but it works. It's not your typical like Will Ferrell movie or obscenecomedy.org.
Right, right.
Very surprising and a very, very good movie. Don't let the cover and the people who are in this movie scare you. It's worth the watch. It's really got that quote unquote indie film vibe to it.
It's got that everyone's favorite disc digital copy.
Yeah.
Very useful.
So, highly recommended. I really was surprised by this movie, and it's really good, and I'm glad I bought it. And story's good. It's not just, it's not your typical, like I said, Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell?
Whatever. Will Ferrell, you know what I'm, like,
sure.
Talladega Nights, Step Brothers type, just crazy comedy.
Right. All right, first on the block for me is the Thing prequel that nobody asked for. But you know what? I like this movie. I think there definitely are some problems in it. For instance, it's essentially the same exact story as the original, so a lot of people get confused and think that this is a remake. However, it is a prequel. But the stories are very similar, and they also should have maybe named it something else, not just
Possibly.
The Thing. It's got Ramona Flowers in it, Joel Edgerton. The thing that's interesting about this movie is that at one point all of the monsters were practical effects like they were in the original. However, the studio thought that was dumb and not scary, so it was all replaced with CG. So, yeah.
Okay.
CG for the win. What's next up, Steve?
Next up, that they are currently filming the sequel to this movie, Broken Lizard's Super Troopers.
Unnecessary.net.
I'm a big fan of Broken Lizard's movies, and I feel like they're very underappreciated, so I do have higher hopes for Super Troopers 2 than I did for Dumb and Dumber 2, or,
I feel like Broken Lizard was big during their time.
Oh, yeah, but I feel like some of their movies didn't quite hit as well as they should have. Like Slammin' Salmon and Club Dread, like those are great movies on par with Super Troopers.
Get that Club Dread Blu-ray.
Yeah, let's get it going.
Come on.
So this was, I think this was either $4 or $5 at Best Buy by the register, so couldn't pass it up. Classic.
Those dang register Blu-rays.
They kill you.
I'm just trying to check out.
So
why don't you want a Blu-ray?
If you're probably this is their probably most familiar movie. If you haven't seen any other Broken Lizard movies, please do. Like I said, especially Club Dread and Slammin' Salmon. I'm trying to think of some other ones that they've done. Beer Fest is pretty funny. So, just saw this. Not going to pass it up. Had some
Super Troopers.
Extra cash burning in the old pockets.
Yeah,
and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. So, Super Troopers, good movie.
Nice. Next on the block for me is JFK, starring Kevin Costner. This is a great movie. It's about the Warren Commission. It is about the conspiracy or slash truth that JFK was
That the Illuminati is real.
assassinated, but not by Lee Harvey Oswald, but by a suspicious character in the grassy knoll. This is the special Blu Ray. It's got some shit in it. It's got a nice little booklet that kind of talks about some facts about the movie and facts about the actual case. Hopefully I'm holding this right. It also gives you a rundown of the actors, gives some of their familiar work. 3.5 hours long, seems like a long time, but this movie is paced so well that it flies by. You got Kevin Costner in here.
I've never seen it, but I'm a big fan of historical movies and, you know, things of this nature, so I'd probably really like it.
Kevin Costner? Huh? What
Great actor.
What about Sissy Spacek?
Down.
What about Tommy Lee Jones?
Hell yeah.
What about Joe Pesci?
Hell yeah.
What about Gary Oldman?
Hell yeah.
Look, he's Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah.
What about Oliver Stone,
Sure.
the director?
Sure.
There's a Merle is in this movie. What's his face?
Michael Rooker.
Yeah, Michael Rooker. All-star cast. Great film. Check it out.
Speaking of great films,
Ooh.
I robbed this from
Seriously,
this screenplay.
that's a rare Ray.
X-Files Fight the Future, aka the best X-Files movie.
Because there's only two. One of them sucks.
Yep.
Hard.
Great film.
Yeah.
As you can see, I paid $5.99 for that. Go on Amazon. It's going for
It's in the
like
$30s.
$30.
Yeah, it's in the 30s. Pretty expensive.
So I saw this and I had to pounce.
Randomly expensive. The last Blu-ray update, I had the French Canadian version, which I don't know if I said this or not. Confirmed works.
Okay.
Flawlessly.
Cool.
So
You lucked out.
Yep.
It's good.
great transfer too. I really.
Oh, yeah.
I really thought the transfer looked very.
The transfer
nice.
is beautiful. Like, you would think that it was filmed like recently. Like,
Yeah.
it's a recent movie. Like,
Yeah.
it's flawless.
It's
One of the
good.
best Blu-ray transfers I've ever seen. Period. And that is that.
All right. Next up for me is the Steelbook edition of Mad Max Fury Road.
Jelly.
This
Very
is
jelly.
the Best Buy exclusive Steelbook that I was so fortunate enough to get the last copy of. Woke up 5 minutes after Best Buy opened, got there, and there was only 2 copies left. Me and Justin were lucky enough to snag these. These are going for a cool 50, 60 on the Zon/eBay.
I paid close to $60 for the Guardians of the Galaxy Steelbook, and I may just have to throw down for this Steelbook.
I really like the cover. I really, really like this cover. This movie has definitely grown on me as well.
Mhm.
I thought it was a good movie when I saw it in theaters, but really, I've watched it a couple times at home, and it's like clicked now. I get it.
Mhm.
I get it. I really, really like Mad Max Fury Road. What's next?
Next one, a View Askew Universe movie. I think this may have been this was the very first Kevin Smith View Askew movie I ever saw as a very young
Me
kid.
too. Me too.
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
A classic.
Absolute classic.
People don't like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't get that. But I'm a View Askew Universe fanboy, not afraid to admit it. I love every single View Askew movie that Kevin Smith's ever made. I think they're all masterpieces. You can fight me about that if you want. I live at 73 to... No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, one of my all-time favorites. Absolute classic. And the transfer is very good as well.
Yes. Awesome. Badass.
what
Everyone
can you say?
knows Jay and Silent Bob.
Yep. And fuck you if you don't like them.
Yep. All right, next up for me is a Steven Spielberg joint that I haven't watched yet, and that's Minority Report, starring Tom Cruise. Interest for this came about through watching Chris Stuckman's review of Minority Report. I don't know why I've never seen this. I like Tom Cruise. I like Steven Spielberg. It was just one of those movies that I just didn't ever see, so I blind bought it on Blu Ray, and hopefully I'll watch it soon and have my mind blown.
I have not seen that either.
Yep.
And another classic View Askew movie that I've probably seen hundreds of times because I absolutely love it.
Except for the extended cut.
Oh yeah,
Random.
That one takes forever to watch.
Random. I made the mistake of starting that out with Ashley because she's never seen Mallrats, and I was like, oh yeah, let's watch it. We'll watch the extended cut. And I was like, oh my god. Like I'd never seen the extended cut, so I didn't know that there was like this whole big scene at the beginning of the movie.
Oh,
so,
I forgot to hold it up.
Yeah,
there you go.
Mallrats obviously is what we're talking about.
You can get this at Best Buy for a deal.
Yep,
they're pretty cheap.
It's like $7.99.
Yeah, comes with the ultraviolet code, obviously, but the transfer looks very, very good. I stumbled upon this movie, I think, after Clerks 2, because that's when like my I guess I wouldn't say love, but my interest in Kevin Smith movies like reignited around that time, because I was very young when I saw Jay and Silent Bob, and I thought it was just like a standalone thing. I didn't know anything about Clerks or Mallrats or anything like that.
Yeah.
So when Clerks 2 was coming out,
Mallrats was the last one that I saw too. Like I saw everything else, and then I went back and saw Mallrats.
So I binged on Mallrats, Dogma, and Chasing Amy prior to the release of Clerks 2, and I've watched it so I would think I went through a period of time where I watched this like every night for I don't know how long. It's just one of those movies that's so satisfying to watch, and I can watch it anytime and still get a kick out of it. And one of my favorite movies of all time. Criminally underrated. I mean, I've watched. It comes with as all View Askew universe movies and releases seem to come with just a ton of bonus features, which I love. It seems like there's a documentary on each like DVD and Blu-ray. Yeah, no, that's great. And in the documentary here, they said that it was so poorly received, when it first came out. I don't know how.
Yeah.
But
people didn't get it. I mean, a lot of movies are like that. Not just Kevin Smith, but a lot of movies come out and people are like, "The fuck is this?" And then years later, they're like, "Oh, that was good."
Yeah.
Like, for instance, The Thing. The original Thing was like that. Fucking people were like, "This movie sucks," when it first came out. But obviously now it's considered a pinnacle of the horror genre.
Yep.
So,
and if you haven't seen it, do yourself a fucking favor.
A fucking
you
favor.
noob.
Yep. Okay. Next on the block for me is The Ring, starring Naomi Watts. This is the American version, obviously, not the remake. One of the few remakes that is worth a damn. And this movie is excellent. It's very scary, very effective, and for $5, I wasn't about to let it slip through the cracks.
Here's one that is a guilty pleasure of mine. It's not great. It might not even be good. But
it's borderline offensive.
Spawn, the director's cut, the live action film. I've grown very fond of the character Spawn. Recently, before I even watched this, I started reading the comics and I started watching the animated series, the HBO animated series, which is fantastic, better than the movie.
Yep.
But I still like this movie. But it's not
so corny.
Yeah, it is. It's not good.
It's so corny.
If the writing was better, and maybe the characters acted better, because the performances in this movie are very bad.
I don't know.
It's just one of those movies that It's bad, but I like it. I'm no stranger to liking bad movies.
It happens. It happens.
But yeah, Spawn. If you haven't seen it, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I was gonna
Watch
say,
the animated series. But
can't really recommend.
but if you're a comic book fan, then
Yeah.
I'd say watch it.
All right. Next on the block for me is a childhood favorite,
And I'm regretting not snagging that.
and that is Casper on Blu Ray. I watched this. The transfer, not terribly impressive. However, this movie holds a lot of dear memories for me. I'm not really the nostalgic kind of person, but I really like this movie. I like the sets. I like the house.
Yeah, the set is great.
Like, the house is awesome, and kind of there's a lot of jokes that you wouldn't really get if you were a kid. Like, when I rewatched this a couple days ago, there was a bunch of stuff and I was just like, oh, hey, I get it. Like randomly, like, Dan Aykroyd is in the movie dressed as a Ghostbuster, and he like runs out of the house and he's like, who are you gonna call? Someone else. Because they're like trying to get the ghosts out of the house. It's just really funny because, I mean, when I was little I didn't watch Ghostbusters or anything, so like certain things like that just like flew over my head, but then I understood it and it was awesome. Casper on Blu-ray.
Next one, speaking of childhood nostalgic classics, Welcome to the Jam, the Space Jam. The greatest film ever made of all time.
I'm gonna say it. I fucking hate Space Jam. Like, I fucking hate Space Jam so much. I do not understand the hype behind the movie.
It's great.
Like, I liked it when I was little, and then I rewatched it, and I was like, yep, this movie's fucking stupid.
Because you don't appreciate basketball.
Moron Mountain.
Yeah.
And Charles Barkley. And,
some great cameos by some 90s NBA superstars
yep.
in this movie. Classic for me. Obviously, there's some haters out there, but obnoxiously expensive on Blu-ray though. I think I bought this on sale. I think it was briefly on sale somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. You can find it in the Walmart bins. It's made its way to the Walmart bin.
Yeah, but
$7.88.
maybe that's right.
I mean, we're fucking spoiled though, so $7.88 is a lot for a Blu-ray. All right, next on the block for me is another blind buy that I haven't watched yet, and that is Moon, starring Sam Rockwell. This is a movie about a man who he lives on the moon for 3 years, and he's about to come home, but then he finds out that he kind of like finds his body somewhere else, and so basically it's like this weird sci-fi movie where there's like two of him, and they don't know which one's the real him, and Kevin Spacey's the robot voice. I've heard a lot of this has been compared to 2001: A Space Odyssey, which is a classic. I'm really excited to watch this. I'm probably going to check it out tomorrow night because I've been waiting for Justin because he wants to see it as well. Moon on Blu-ray.
Next one was a blind buy for me.
Blind buy
of Blu-ray from Big Lots.
Big.
I haven't seen it yet, but there are two Clint Eastwoods on the cover.
Two of them. That is weird.
That's strange. And John Malkovich, very scary. In the Line of Fire. Apparently, this is about him. Clint Eastwood's a Secret Service agent.
I just want to point out the Spider-Man font right here.
Yeah, there is Spider-Man font on the back.
Where it says special features. The Spider-Man font.
So it's fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. It's got that going for it.
That's not saying much. Sharknado 2 is fresh on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know much about the story.
Blind buy.
I was with my mom at the time. She said it was a good movie, but you never know when my mom says something.
And your mom likes great hit films like
any Adam Sandler movie.
Tammy.
Yeah, Tammy.
I was trying to think of the name of that fucking movie.
Sad but true.
Hilarious.
Big Jenny McCarthy fan.
Yeah. All right. Next for me is the Frankenstein Monster. It's the original Boris Karloff classic. I love when Halloween rolls around and Walmart gets these Blu-rays because there was a point in time, I'd probably say like 2 years ago, where these were insanely expensive online. Like at first, the only way to get the classic Universal movies was you had to buy like a box set, and it was like $300. So I'm glad that they're printing these separately. Frankenstein's one of the all-time greats. It's a classic movie. The transfer on these is insane. I always say this, but black and white movies look fucking beautiful on Blu-ray. I mean, especially, think of something like this that's from the 30s, if I'm not mistaken. Can't really remember off the top of my head, but it just looks incredible on Blu-ray. And obviously the movie's great, and if you don't know what Frankenstein's about, I'm sorry.
At this point. Next one I haven't even opened yet. South Park, Bigger, Longer, Uncut. This was on sale
Classic.
at Best Buy.
Mine's actually right there.
Yeah, they had that promotional thing. I remember you told me about that. And I was in Texas. At the moment, so I had to coax some people into taking me to Best Buy.
Yeah, it was only $5.
Yeah.
The transfer on this is insane.
Is it?
Like it's weird because obviously South Park, especially the movie and earlier South Park, was all like handmade with like paper, but it seriously like looks like real fucking paper. Like you can see like the like little rivets in the paper and stuff. It's like super detailed.
When I bought this, I also bought Black Sheep with Chris Farley and David Spade, but I forgot that at my abode. Along with Jurassic World, I bought the lunchbox edition of that as well.
Also, something to be mentioned about this is I'm pretty sure it has a full-length commentary track with Matt and Trey, which they used to do. They do commentary tracks on their episodes for South Park, or at least the older ones. I don't know if they still do it now. I haven't bought South Park on DVD in a while, but they would do it and it would be like 5 minutes. And that's it. Like 5 minutes of the episode, and they'd be like, no one wants to hear us talk, so that's the end of the track. And it would be so frustrating, but I'm pretty sure this is like a full commentary track, which is very rare from them because they're old bastards. But
Yep. Classic. Saw this when I was a very young child as well.
Yep.
Changed my life.
It's a great film.
Forever.
Next up for me, I'm going to do a 2-for-1 special because they're kind of the same thing.
Just a stupid 2-for-1.
Oh,
you know what?
Captain America, The Winter Soldier. And Avengers Age of Ultron Steelbook with Ultron on the back. Captain America Winter Soldier is one of those movies that was unexpectedly amazing. And I also think the same thing for Age of Ultron. A lot of people don't like
Fuck the haters.
Age of Ultron.
I rewatched it the other day and it's still so fucking good.
I stick by my ground. This is better than the first Avengers. Yep. Ultron's a much better villain than stupid fucking Loki and the dumbass Chitauri aliens. So yeah, Avengers and Captain America.
Okay, so
I just knocked out 2 of your Blu-rays.
This is a classic for me that I don't hear anything about ever. It's a Mike Myers movie. Brace yourself. So I Married an Axe Murderer. I love this movie. I think it's great. I think it might be. I can't say it's better than Austin Powers, but it may be his best movie.
Spider-Man font.
Yep. Specifications.
What is up with this? Is this like a Sony movie?
Yeah. Well, it's a Sony Blu-ray, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it is a Sony Pictures film. They must just use that font for fucking everything, apparently.
It's kind of a pseudo horror movie as well. Obviously, as you could tell by the whole story in the beginning, there isn't really any horror elements besides like setting up the ending, the climax, and then it turns into a suspense, like horror thriller almost.
Suspense.
Yeah, and really funny, underrated. Like I said, I don't hear anything about it really. Doesn't get the love it deserves. And I paid.
Done getting the love it reserves. You paid like $8 for
Yeah, it was used. So I assume this is
a little harder.
Semi-rare, I suppose.
Yeah, probably a little harder to find.
Because I think I looked on Amazon, and I don't even think it was listed as it was on Blu Ray. So I'm gonna go check that out actually when we're done with this to see how rare it actually is. But do yourselves a favor, watch this movie. It's really, really good.
Nice. All right, next up for me, another 2-for-1 special, and that, of course, is Pirates of the Caribbean 1 and 2 classics. 3 and 4 suck, but 1 and 2 are still great movies. I was surprised with how actually cheap these were because Disney Blu-rays are usually fucking expensive and they retain their value, but these, I think I paid $4 for them a piece. Tons of bonus features too, which is nice. It's got 2 Blu-ray discs and the DVD.
Do they look beautiful?
They do. Disney doesn't fuck around with their transfers. They really don't. I mean, they're worth the money when you have to pay for them because they're quality. They're not shitty transfers. But yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean. If you don't know what they're about or haven't seen them, I don't know what you've been doing besides living under a rock, perhaps. Great movies.
Here's another Big Lots blind buy that I was again pleasantly surprised with. Cyrus. Again, two of those actors that you're like, okay, this is going to be a zany, super bad comedy, but it's really not. I would say this is more of a serious movie than anything else, with all unintentional comedy.
Wowzers.
Yeah, like seriously, like. I know it says damn funny on the back. Yes, it's funny, but it's all unintentional, and really the movie is like a really serious movie besides the exception of a few things. Like there's a scene where John C. Reilly is threatening Cyrus, and it just, you can't help but laugh at John C. Reilly's delivery and how he says things, but in that moment he's completely serious. So again, one that you would probably be pleasantly surprised with as well.
2010.
It's got really good reviews, as I recall. If you haven't seen it, if you're a casual, I hate to say that I'm not casual, but if you're like a casual, I want to watch a John C. Reilly, Jonah Hill movie, you're probably not going to like it because it's pretty serious.
There's so many to choose from. John C. Reilly and Jonah Hill, they just team up all the time.
You know what I meant. I didn't mean them like together.
I know. I'm just fucking with you. Okay. Next for me, I'm going to do a quadruple.
Don't do it to them.
I'm going to do it.
They ain't ready.
A quadruple feature. These are all stuck together because of the fucking stickers.
Oh, yeah.
Batman Returns, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin. Now, I know what you're thinking.
Why?
But here's the thing. Batman Returns, better than 89. Batman Forever, it's a good movie.
It's tolerable.
Batman and Robin is so fucking bad that it's funny and it's hilarious. Fucking George Clooney is hilarious unintentionally. Arnold Schwarzenegger is hilarious unintentionally. Chris O'Donnell is hilarious.
Yep.
Unintentionally. This is
Alicia Silverstone.
Yes. The thing, people hate on this movie all the time because yes, it is bad, but it is one of those movies that it is so bad that it is good. It is just funny to watch. It is unintentionally like fucking hilarious.
I love the suits.
Yeah,
they don't really use them though, do they?
It's like the last 5 minutes of the movie, essentially. Yeah.
I wish they would just acknowledge Chris O'Donnell as Nightwing instead of Batman and Robin.
Yeah, he is essentially Nightwing in this movie, but yeah, those 3 Batman movies, get your head out of your ass if you hate on them like that.
Here's another. I'm gonna hit you with a quadruple illogy.
A quadrilogy would be the term you're looking.
A quad bike.
Yes. Quadrilogy.
The Pierce Brosnan 007 collection.
1 out of 4 are good. The other 3 can be thrown in the garbage.
No, have you even seen The World Is Not Enough?
Yes, I've seen them all, Steve.
The World Is Not Enough is great. It collects, obviously, all of his Bond films. GoldenEye, Tomorrow Never Dies, The World Is Not Enough, and Die Another Day, which is the worst one. But I can still watch it. I am a Pierce Brosnan 007 fanboy, not afraid to admit it.
Die Another Day is particularly fucking terrible. Yeah, I guess it does make the other ones look good, but I mean,
Tomorrow Never Dies is pretty good. I love The World Is Not Enough. It's super cheesy, and it is definitely more over the top than the first two. I think we can agree that GoldenEye is by far the best of his 4.
Obviously.
And then I would say World Is Not Enough is second, Tomorrow Never Dies 3, and Die Another Day dead last.
Die Another Day is fucking terrible.
Great price at Target. I actually want to run there later.
It's like $10, wasn't it? Something.
Yeah, it was like maybe 13 or something like that. But still, I mean, I can't pass that up.
I know. I paid like $8 for my copy of GoldenEye.
Brand new 4 films. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Digital HD too, and digital copies.
Yep.
All right. Next up for me is. Wow, you're running low there.
Yeah, this is my last 2.
I got a lot to go through. Necessary Evil. It's a documentary about DC villains. DC Comics, that is. Obviously, if you couldn't tell by the cover. Pretty interesting. Not kind of as deep as I would have hoped it would have been. It's a little fluffy. It's a little fluff PC, but I think I paid like $3 for this, so
Can't beat that.
I'm not really upset about it.
My last 2, Key and Peele seasons 1 and 2. I got these last night actually from the Marivelle disc replay. Wow.
Whoa.
They also have another.
I'm surprised they weren't fucking $75.
Yeah.
A season of TV.
Great show. I love the skits, but I hate the intervals when they're just like doing like stand-up comedy together, like on the stage. I like. It's annoying.
It's like they're trying to. It's like Chappelle Show.
Yeah, it's not funny when they're doing their stand-up bits.
Yeah.
It's just like they didn't know what else to do besides skits. They're like, oh, we'll just.
You could tell that this show is formalized to be like Chappelle Show.
Yeah.
With the stand-up comedy bits in between, and then it goes into the skits, and then it goes back and forth.
The skits are golden.
The skits are really good.
They're fantastic, but
yeah,
the interval's not good. Looks beautiful, as to be expected in this day and age. Funny show. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
All right.
Season 1 is particularly good.
Next up for me, Steve's out of Blu-rays, but I still have a lot to go through. The Road.
I'll just start reviewing your Blu-rays on the shelf.
Starring Viggo Mortensen and Charlize Theron. This movie, well, it was a book, and then it was a movie. If you like The Last of Us, the video game, heavy inspiration drawn from this movie/book. This movie is very depressing. It's very dark. It's a little hard to watch because you just kind of feel like you just want to die. It's so depressing, but it's a great movie nonetheless. Next up, an instant classic.
Absolutely, and I'm jealous.
Gone Girl.
There he got the booklet.
Starring Ben Affleck and Rosamund Pike with the booklet. I don't know how Steve didn't get the booklet.
It was just this on the shelf at Disc Replay. And it was like $5.99 or something like that.
Yeah, I know. I think I paid $5.99 for this actually. Great movie directed by David Fincher, who directs amazing movies like Seven and Zodiac. And if you haven't seen this movie, 10 out of 10 would recommend. It is probably one of the best movies of last year, and it is also, it's like 2.5 hours, but it zooms by.
Yeah, the pacing is beautiful, and then when it gets to the very end, it just kind of speeds it up.
Yep.
Which
Perfect.
It speeds it up, but it's like it leaves you like, I want to watch another hour of this movie. I wish there was a longer cut of the movie.
The cliffhanger. Well, it's not really a cliffhanger, but kind of the resolution of the movie. You're just like, ah, fuck.
Like I wish, like it wouldn't. Like I understand. Obviously, you got to do it for time reasons, but I wish it wouldn't. Like there was a cut where it didn't just speed up at the end and then, do the resolution. I wish there was a cut of the movie where it kept the same pace and it ended like an hour later, because it's one of the few movies that I want to see more of that. I don't want to see a sequel, but I want to see more. Like if they did a part 2,
Gone Girl 2,
I don't think it would work. Yeah.
Next up is Napoleon Dynamite, the Walmart Blu Ray, which just has a separate slipcase on it, and it's just the standard Blu Ray underneath, and it comes with a fold-out poster of the Walmart cover art. Similar to the Predator Blu Ray I have. I also don't think I redeemed this digital copy, so I'll have to do that. Because Napoleon Dynamite's a classic. Very funny. It's very weird, though.
I remember the first time I saw it, I didn't really know what to think about it. I was very young when it came out.
Right, this was like 04, I believe. 2004.
I didn't quite know how I felt. And then I watched it again, and I started getting more of the jokes, and the more I liked it.
Yep.
It's a classic.
Next up is a gracious gift from Steve from the last Blu-ray update, and that is Daredevil, the director's cut. I don't know how you like Spawn, but you don't like this.
I'm gonna have to rewatch this.
It makes no sense.
I'm gonna have to re-borrow my Blu-ray that I gave you.
That you can sit through Spawn, but you can't sit through this. Again, the PG-13 cut of this movie is pretty fucking bad, but I think the director's cut makes it into a tolerable / decent movie. Like, honestly, I think the added action scenes, the added violence, the subplot where you actually get to see Matt Murdock, being a lawyer, which the PG-13 is sorely lacking. Also, they cut out the super forced love interest between Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck, or Elektra and Daredevil. It's super forced in the PG-13 cut and makes no sense.
Speaking of Daredevil, I just started watching the Netflix series again today before I came over. Still as good as I remember. Absolutely fantastic.
Yep. Next up for me is Mallrats, shown earlier. It's the exact same copy, except for mine has the slipcase on it.
I guess they made the slipcases in limited quantities or something, because
I don't. It's part of the series, like the 90. Like there's a copy of like Jurassic Park and stuff like that, where it'll come with this slipcase, and it has this little fold-out piece that talks about different movies in the time periods and TV and stuff. Yeah, so Mallrats on Blu-ray. Next up is a classic, Young Frankenstein, Mel Brooks film. It is fantastic. This is the 40th anniversary version. This is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. Absolutely enjoy it. It is such a good movie. Up there in the ranks of Spaceballs, which
I've never seen Young Frankenstein.
Have you seen Spaceballs?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Young Frankenstein is great, especially if you love the character of Frankenstein and sort of the old Universal monster movies, which obviously I'm a big fan of. Next up is a controversial pick. A lot of people fucking hate this movie, claimed it was the worst movie of 2011, and that is the remake of Conan the Barbarian, which I absolutely love this movie. I think it's awesome. I love the original Conan with Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I thought Jason Momoa absolutely killed it in this movie. It's so violent. It's so gory. He kicks so much ass in this. Khal Drago just killing it. I think a lot of people take this movie a little too seriously. But I thought that it is just it's fun. It's just an entertaining movie. Like, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with just watching a movie and just having a good time?
Not a damn thing.
Next up is a Ty West joint, and that is The Innkeepers, which is a horror film, but it's also unexpectedly very funny. Ty West is the master of the modern slow burn horror films. He made House of the Devil.
Excuse you.
Yes, which is another classic. And this movie is almost as good. Not quite as good as House of the Devil, but good enough. I'm gonna die again.
While he's dying, let's talk about movies.
Okay.
That was a great talk.
Yep.
Oh,
Walk Hard. Classic.
one of the greatest comedies ever made in the history of cinema.
Especially if you're a big rock and roll fan, a big music fan.
If you don't like music, you won't get half of this movie.
But, if you're a big fan of the classic rock and roll era, or just music in general, and you just kind of like to see a satire of it.
And the extended cut is so fucking long, just like the Mallrats extended cut, but it's so funny.
It's so worth it. Great movie. Walk Hard.
If you didn't know, Dewey Cox invented hardcore.
Yes.
And punk.
Next up is a surprise hit of 2013, and that is Curse of Chucky. This was originally going to be a remake, and then they were just like, let's just make a sequel instead. Straight to DVD and Blu Ray. The best Chucky movie since Child's Play 1. I'm going to say it. It's serious, but it's also just a lot of fun. It's really good, like surprisingly good. Like, I was expecting this movie to be a pile of shit, because I hate Bride and Seed of Chucky so much. But knocks it out of the park.
Big fan of Bride. I do like Seed.
Next up is...
but I understand your gripes.
Chronicles of Riddick. The sequel to Pitch Black.
I am Riddick.
This is a great movie starring Carl Urban. Lots of fun, lots of action in this movie. Vin Diesel kills it. I really enjoy this movie. I wish Riddick, which is the third one, would have been better, because that movie honestly sucked. But this Chronicles of Riddick is great. Okay, next up, two X-Men movies. That is, of course, X-Men First Class, which is a decent film. A lot of people love it. I'm still just kind of like, but I like to own the X-Men movies. So I picked it up. It was like $3 or something. Maybe $4. It's got
that's the only X-Men
digital copy.
It's the only X-Men movie I don't have.
So X-Men First Class and X-Men Origins Wolverine, which is a real pile of shit. This movie fucking sucks. But you know what? I literally paid $1 for this. This is the Blu Ray copy. It's one of those
the Blockbuster edition.
Yep, the Blockbuster edition.
It's got the Blockbuster sticker in the front.
I found this at a bookstore, and it was just sitting there, and it was just $1, and I was like, okay. I mean, that's
a good find, because on eBay, if you have a Blockbuster case of like any movie or anything, like, they sell it for big bucks on there.
All right, we're getting down to the wire here for me. I've only got a couple more left. Jurassic World with this dumb fucking tin that I really wish I didn't buy. Stupid.
I should have mentioned earlier that
stupid
Jurassic World for me was a blind buy. I'd never seen it before.
Weird.
And I was I really liked it, except the two kids kind of almost ruined it. But other than that,
the big problem with this is that it comes with a nice little stand here. You can see this fake digital copy code. Just try and redeem it. It comes with this little fucking kickstand thing, but it does not support the movie at all. You have to sit there and fucking jiggle with it so it'll actually like prop up, and also that, you know, you can't really put it on your shelf. It's a big fucking thick Blu-ray. Yeah, so I kind of regret buying it. I wish I would have just bought the regular edition. Next up is the Scream Factory release of Army of Darkness. Just came out recently. This is obviously the third Evil Dead movie. It's amazing. I love Army of Darkness so much. It's so much fun. The slapstick comedy is great. Bruce Campbell's great. This is it's got 3 discs, 3 separate cuts of the movie. Tons of bonus features. There's actually a new making of that is it's an hour and a half long, and it's very interesting. And it's got Bruce Campbell's in it, Greg Nicotero is in it, some of the other actors like King Arthur, the guy who played King Arthur, the guy who played Henry the Red, they're all in it, and they're all just talking. It's a really interesting watch. I would definitely recommend that one over the easier to find version of Army of Darkness, the Screwhead edition. If you're a real fan of Army of Darkness, I'd pick up the Scream Factory. Now, finally, the big reveal. And this is Halloween, the complete collection on Blu-ray. The 15-disc version, not that pussy 10-disc version that you find everywhere. 15 discs, every movie. It comes with a booklet in here. So it comes with this little booklet here. It's got tons of little tidbits about the movies. So it's just very interesting. It's a very interesting read. Just kind of touches on all the movies, including the remake. Unfortunately. But it's also has the highly sought after producer's cut of Halloween 6, which is allegedly a great cut of the movie, and I haven't watched it yet, but apparently now you can buy it separately on Blu-ray, the producer's cut for Halloween 6. I also do like that it's they're all black.
Yeah.
The Blu-rays are black. And Halloween 3, which is a very controversial movie. A lot of people hate it, but just, you know, watch Halloween 3 again. Don't think of it as part of the Halloween franchise. You'll have a great time. This is a good movie. It's just not a Halloween movie, obviously. It doesn't have Michael Myers in it, in case you were unfamiliar. But yeah, so 15 discs, Halloween, the complete collection. And that's all there is to it, folks. That was a giant, long Blu-ray update, and we hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe if you did, and leave a comment about our obsessive compulsive Blu-ray purchases.
See you at Albert's.
How do you love it?